Hi, my name's Clint Seares. I'm a business coach and a mindset coach. I came into to know Kitty because I was struggling with massive amounts of debt, and I was trained on business skills and how to manage my business, and I had raised a lot of debt because I had tried to get some opportunity, tried to manage some cash flow with my business, as well as supporting my family, and I didn't get the rewards or the outcomes that I wanted from that debt that I invested in. And what was happening was I was getting to this stage where the income that I was earning was getting paid off just simply on the debts that I was that I had in place, and there was no ability for me to move forward. I was kind of in this debt trap where I couldn't move forward, and I couldn't do anything. All I was doing was earning enough just so that I could just pay the debts, and it got to a stage where I didn't want to pick up the phone. I didn't want to answer any phone calls because I feared that there was going to be someone else that was going to start asking me for some money, and so I didn't want to answer the phone when it rang, which is really hard when you're running a business that you don't want to answer your own phone. So it became a really difficult situation to the extent where I vividly remember a point just before I spoke to Kitty where I was shuffling through my bag looking for change that I could buy some food and groceries for the family for that evening. My credit cards, my debit cards were all maxed out. I had nothing to my name, just scrounging around in the back of my bag for looking for some spare change. It was really nice for someone to step in between my to understand my situation and not judge. I think that was probably the best thing that I could have got, is that I had a person that understood my situation and that wasn't prepared to add to the shame and the guilt that I was having right then and there. I had someone that was able to take the pressure off by stepping in between and being a bit of a barrier between the people that I owed money with and myself, and they could then step in and keep the wolves at bay, and for that was just a breath of fresh air. And then the third thing I think that was really quite critical was what I should tackle first and prioritizing my efforts. And so it was a case of, well, here are all the debts. This is what we're going to do with them. And we're going to take these step by step at a time. And I thought that actually, just rather than, you've got so much debt, it can be really overwhelming. It's like, where do you start? I've just got this huge mountain in front of me. And Kitty was able to really prioritize what I was going to do. And she was very, she was the person in my corner that I could celebrate some milestones with as I was chipping away at this massive mountain that I was undertaking. I was full of shame, and I didn't want to share it with anyone. I didn't want to talk to anyone about it. My partner knew to the position that we were in, but no one else did, and so it was a case of I had no one to talk to about it. It was great to just have the opportunity of unpacking some frustration and having someone to listen without judgment. And now I'd gone to Kitty, and was I going to commit myself to her? What was I committing to? And was that going to actually add to the burden that I was currently under? And I really just didn't know. I really just did not know what the opportunity was there. And the only thing that I could do was look at the testimonials, and then at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. And so if you're, what do they say? That the definition of insanity is to keep on doing the same thing and try and get a different result. Well, I wasn't prepared to do that anymore. So I had to do something different. And so taking a leap of faith with Kitty was possibly the best thing I've ever done. And that she actually went and spoke to all the banks. And then she came back to me and said, hey, look, I've spoken to all the debtors and this is what we've agreed to. And once I had that conversation with Kitty, when she actually said, look, I'm keeping the wolves at bay, they're going to stop the phone calls. They're going to stop all the interest payments. They're just going to put a stop to it. And once she came back with that, it was a total relief. It was a total relief, and it wasn't a mountain still growing. It was a mountain that I could now start chipping away at in manageable chunks. Kitty and Debt Angels were able to save me in the order of $50,000 worth of debt. That debt was sort of chasing me and hunting me. But I went back to Kitty, even though the relationship had kind of ended by then. I went back to her and said, look, what's going on here? And they said, don't worry about it, Clint. Let us take care of it. And I had thought that they would have been able to, reduce it by some extent, but actually to wipe the debt clean, I thought was exceeding expectations. Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get out of the debt trap. And there was a, and so I would have continued to work for free. Basically, I would have continued to work over that period of time indefinitely for free, and then we always have that uncertainty of COVID. And so what would have happened through COVID? Goodness knows what would have happened through that period of time. I believe that my debts would have increased over that period of time. My living standard would have reduced. My stress levels would have increased. The quality of life would have gone down. The money and having cash flow is a freedom. It's a freedom to make a decision. It's a freedom to choose. And with no freedom, just gives you no choice, gives you no freedom. It gives you the ability to continue to do what you're doing, even though you're going down the wrong road. You have no choice but to keep going, because that's the only thing that's going to be able to manage those debts. I wouldn't have been able to get free of Kitty, and so that would have led to bankruptcy. And so then what I'm doing now in terms of having my own app and other opportunities that I'm doing really run on the fact that I haven't gone bankrupt. I didn't go bankrupt, and so I've got those freedoms to actually do things now because those debts have been finished. Allow me to have my life back, to have the freedom to choose and to create the life that I want to live. I was physically fatigued, but also emotionally fatigued and mentally fatigued, and the burden of that debt was limiting me, was limiting my life, and so I really what I've been able to do since then, it's only been a couple of years, has been really down to Kitty's work to get me out from the debt that I was in. Well, I couldn't go to anyone. I couldn't go to my peers. I couldn't go to my family. But what I could do is I could pick up a phone call and call Kitty and speak to her for free. And at least that is shining some light on the challenge. They treat me more than just a client. They treated me like a friend. And for that, there was actually regained a lot of confidence and regained a bit of self-esteem that the debt sort of eroded away. And for everything that her team and Kitty has done for me, I'm truly grateful.